We are back with some drum chats. What's up, Anthony?
What's cracking, dog?
It's been a while, man.
It
Been
has.
busy.
Sorry, this took too damn long to set up again. It's just lots of touring this year, or well, last year, and it's crazy stuff. But I'm glad we're back, dude. Another episode of Drum Chats.
Dude, we got through the holiday season. How was it? Did you have a good time, Christmas and New Year's and all that?
I did, yeah, I had a great time. I played 96 shows last year. I was gone for 200 days, and it was nice to, you know, kind of when I got home from tour, I actually made a map. A friend gave me this map that you can kind of put pins in, and I pinned every city that that I played a show in this year, and just kind of looking at that, it's on the wall out in the hallway, and it's like just seeing that is like I didn't even pin the days off. Like if I pinned the days off, it would be a
Madness.
mess. Yeah, but like yeah, man, it was a good year. It was a busy year. I played 45 arenas last year.
Dude, I
So,
know I saw you just arena after arena. I saw you on the Kelly Clarkson show. You guys did some cool stuff this year.
yeah, we had a good year, and then we're leaving again in 6 days. So it's like back at it here pretty soon. Things will be
Back
good,
at it.
man. It'll be good.
Back at it, man. It's going to be a good year. 2026 is going to bring some good stuff. I'm hitting the road too, actually, in like 2 weeks. So only for
Oh yeah, with
like a 3 week run. We're going out with Don Broco.
oh really? Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't tell me this yesterday. That's tight.
Yeah, dude. I had to save it for the airwaves, dude. Yeah,
Dude,
breaking
that's
news,
sick.
guys. No.
Don Broco's sick. Well, who else is on the tour?
Oh, dude, you know what? I'll insert their name here on in the video, but
Yeah,
I forget the band, but I'm stoked, dude. I
that's
can't wait
okay.
to get back out there and play and just be in front of
Dude, yeah.
crowds, dude. I can only imagine playing arenas every night. That's got to be something. Oh,
It's wild. The only thing I haven't done stadiums, and like I want to experience that obviously. I've done crowds that are bigger than stadiums like at festivals. I've never done a proper like NFL stadium or whatever. And I will say that I want to experience that absolutely. But after all these years, man, I just love playing like a rowdy like 2000 cap
mm,
show. Like
yeah.
I love the energy and they're both really rad. Playing the 20,000 person arena or like the 2,000 person club, it's like they're both dope in their own kind of ways, but um I just feel like my wheelhouse is like the theater and below size venue. It just the intimacy is like hard to beat in a really big room.
That's the perfect
So
word, dude. It's more intimate because you can like actually see everyone. Like in
yeah,
an
it's a
arena,
yeah.
it's got to be you probably just black out back there. I mean, I don't
Yeah, you
even.
can't see every once in a while like kind of get caught staring at someone just like watching what they're doing, and it's like a lot of yeah, it's just a different it's a different thing. The
Yeah.
first couple rows you kind of can see, and then past that, but anyway, I'm just grateful to be still playing drums after all these years, man. It's crazy.
That's right, dude. Yo, so we got some stuff we can touch on here. We got a tour essay. I want to get your take on that, but before we get there,
Ooh, yeah, we're gonna hit the tour essay.
yeah, we should save that for. You want to save that for
Let's
later?
save it for the end. I haven't read it yet. So we talked about it yesterday. I haven't read it in a couple weeks since people were like kind of reposting it a bunch. So we'll read it on air and I'll give my thoughts on it.
Okay, sweet. Before we get there, let's talk a little bit about a lot of drummers. Okay, so it's 2026. You open
Okay.
up your phone, there's drum content everywhere. What's more important? Are drummers spending too much time making content and not practicing? This is a topic we've chatted on before, so figured we'd bring it in here and also get some people's opinions in the comments. Drummers are spending more time making videos than working on their craft. And I'd love to hear your take on that. I mean, because content is important, would you say, to a degree?
Absolutely. It's super important to a degree. I think that like back in the day, like I have a website, for example, and back in the day, the thing was like make a website. Like everybody needs a website. If you want to be like a career musician, let's just keep it to drums because that's what we know. But if you want to be a career drummer, I do believe that you need a website. It's it's something you can send to managers, the people making hiring decisions. Like they don't always want to look at an Instagram account. Now they will look at your Instagram, but like when I was younger, I used to think, oh, my YouTube channel, like that's where people would go to find me or to like make sure I can play drums or whatever. That has shifted 1000%. I know for a fact that band leaders, managers, music directors, all of them, they look at Instagram. So your Instagram is they're not looking at TikTok. I can tell you that. And they're not looking at Facebook and they're not looking at X. Like they're looking at Instagram. They want to make sure that, you know, A, you can play at a high level, and then B, that you're, presenting as a professional, that you're not just like posting a bunch of wild shit and, acting a fool. Like nobody wants to hire a liability, right? And so I always tell people like you got to keep it up. You have to like have recent relevant content, posted on your Instagram. One thing that drives me nuts is when I go to a drummer's Instagram account and I can't find a video of them playing,
Mm.
especially when I know it's a good drummer. Like I know it's a good drummer, but it's like if I didn't know who this person was, I'd just be like scrolling like, dude, where is a video of this person playing? Like pin some videos of you playing of your favorite, drum videos, pin them to the top so that when people do come see your page, they go, "Oh, look at that." Like they can play. And on my page, I pin videos of me playing in front of big crowds, kind of as like okay, when you come to my page, you can see that like instantly, like, oh, okay, this guy knows how to play in front of big crowds. If I was somebody hiring a drummer, I'd look at that and go, all right, cool. That's one thing off the list. Like I know they can handle that. Let's see what else is going on here. So basically, I think content is like I think it's important. I think you need to keep it up in the same way you update your resume. Look at your Instagram and your website as your resume. If you are a professional musician, like that is honestly your resume. A lot of people make literally one sheets or like actual paper resumes where they list out like I've done this tour and I've done this tour and I've done this tour. I've never been hired off of one of those. I
Mm.
I know people who have. I know it exists, but all the hiring I've ever experienced has been word of mouth. And everybody who's ever hired me to play drums, guess where they went first? Instagram to make sure that I could play that whatever. So I do think you need to keep content relevant and keep it like, fresh. But at the same time, you don't need to post constantly. You don't need to like get a bunch of followers. Like that kind of stuff to me is it's nice, but at the end of the day, you need to be really, really good and you need to practice. And so that comes back to like the question you originally asked, which is like, are people spending more time making videos than practicing? I don't. I spend more time practicing than making videos. I spend so many hours behind the kit that nobody sees. It's just like it's between me and my drum set because I'm trying to get better. I made a pact with myself when I was like 20, where I was like, I'm going to get better every year at drums. This is not something where you get better every week or every month. I want to look back on the year and go, I added a few things to my bag. I added a couple new chops. I added maybe I can play double bass faster. Maybe my hands are a little bit quicker. Maybe I have more control. Maybe I can learn songs a little bit faster. Like a couple little tricks of the bag every year. And then you fast forward 15, 20 years, and all of a sudden you have a bunch of tricks in your bag and you can pull out, you can be a chameleon, so to speak. I just see a lot of drummers spending way too much time on the internet and way too much time making content like this is not pointed at you because I think you're a great drummer, so this is not this is
Yeah,
pointed at
no,
you like
I
you
trust me. I
there's
have a take on this after you, so
yeah,
by all
I want to
means.
hear your there's no knock on people like you who are great drummers using content creation as a way to make a living. I have zero issue with that. Like I think that's awesome actually. I think it's funny. I love your channel. I love watching your videos. Like that shit cracks me up. It's the guys and gals who don't have a gig, want to have a gig, and they're spending all day making, you know, like Katy Perry if it was metal that type videos. And it's like I guess that's cool. It'll get you views, like whatever. But at the end of the day, if you're not a great drummer, the people hiring you aren't going to care. And trust me, they see stuff like that and they're going to go,
Mhm.
I don't want this guy like backstage with a camera making videos all day. And like, it's not a professional look to me. And, it's also just kind of corny and it's like just get good and be cool. Those are the that's the two things. So all this video here, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. If you want to be a professional drummer at a high level and you are young, if you're in your teens or early 20s right now and you really think you can do it, practice as much as humanly possible, play as many shows as possible. That is the way to do it. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a very long time, but things will slowly move into place as you get better and better and better and tour more and more and more and get more and more and more tours under your belt. Very, 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 very few people just wake up at 35 years old and get lucky and called on to go to a tour when they have zero tour experience or show experience. You see what I'm saying? It basically never happens. And it might look like success on paper, but there's thousands of hours behind, you know what I mean, leading up to that point. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, no, dude, I couldn't agree more. And I wanted to add on to that because I do agree that Instagram is your pinnacle. That's like your pinnacle resume today. But you don't want to make content your identity. Like,
That's exactly right.
put it this way, it's changed a lot. 5 years ago in 2020, 2021, these brands were signing way more content creators. I mean, I came up from the content angle and got the endorsements and got, all the recognition that way. Whereas now it's kind of played out. I mean, they're not really signing those people anymore. It kind of played out. So you got to adjust with the times and say, okay, let me get this serious now. That the content boom was a thing. A lot of us came up from it, but I do happen to have a gig. So I'm in a kind of in a unique spot because I can still kind of like when you just said, not everyone's just going to wake up at 35 and get and get things, You got to
Yeah.
you got to adapt with the times. But what was your thought on that real quick?
So I've seen a couple drummers in the last few months where they're like day 10 of posting every day until Ludwig gives me an endorsement or whatever it is. And if they did that for 500 days straight and and the internet liked it and they got 200,000 followers. Well, in 500 days, if you were doing that every day, you're still not going to be that good. I'm thinking about, people in my head that are popping up. If you are a below average drummer and you make a video every single day for 500 days, you might be an average drummer at the end of that 500 days, right? That's 500 days is like a year and a half. You can't get good at drums in a year and a half. That's not what happens. You need like years and years and years of like grinding really specific things. Like I need to get better at this. I need to get better at this. Like I treat this more like a sport than I do like anything else. NBA players, like they might get to the NBA and they're 20 years old and they're like, okay, I'm really good and I'm really athletic and I can drive right, but I have no left hand. So I need to work on my left hand. I'm good at three pointers, but my mid range is kind of whack. I need to work on my mid range. Like these guys are always working on in the summers. They're constantly working on stuff to like add another tool to the bag so they can stay in the NBA longer and longer and longer. And that's the way I've always looked at it. Like you see guys like Brooks Wackerman or whatever, like just ripping a little bit older than me, all that stuff. And this guy can play Avenged Sevenfold parts, you know, like it's nothing. Like, dude, guys that age, and I mean, I'm not calling him old, but I'm just saying, like, guys that age playing stuff like that, it's hard. It's really tough on your body. And it's just really impressive to see guys keep their body up, keep their minds up. And back to the social media drummer thing, it's like that was a short window. And I always looked at it as like a short-term success strategy. Even if you did get some endorsements from being a content guy or whatever, it's a short-lived thing. You still need to end up with a gig. You still need to end up touring. If you want to be like a drummer, a real drummer that like other drummers respect, you need to get out there and play. You need gigs, you need like recordings, you need stuff that like puts you on the map other than a couple viral videos where you played Katy Perry in the style of Lorna Shore or whatever. It really literally does
No,
not matter.
it
So
literally does. And dude, they're making it their identity. You're supposed to use it as a tool to get the gig. That's the mindset you want to have if you're making content on
that's
social
exactly
media.
right.
A lot of people, dude, it's just a pool and you know what they do? They just feed off of each other and they just make the same content. They copy each other and there's not a lot of original like creators that
Yeah,
doing what's already been done and thinking they're going to get everything from it. The mindset is if I'm going to go the content route, the goal is to get a gig
that's right. And to
and
get great at the instrument.
to get
And to
great
get
at the
good.
instrument. And that's another point too. You have to be good. I actually just posted a thing on my Instagram today trying to help people like not get discouraged because when you look at a really good drummer who's just absolutely killing, sometimes, I mean, I've been there, I know, and I know a lot of people get this. You get discouraged because you're like, dude, I'm never going to get to that level. How am I going to do that? And I encourage people to don't go that route because you don't have to be the craziest, most
You don't.
skilled. You got to be good. I mean, practice, you got to be good, but you do not have to be over the top gifted to get a big gig.
Yeah, absolutely. And last two things on this topic, then we'll move on to the next thing. When I first moved to LA 7 years ago, I was in my practice space, the first lockout I had here in West LA. One day I was in there practicing and I stopped playing for a second. I heard someone down the hall and I was like, who is that? Just absolutely ripping. I'm like, is that Matt Gartzka? I walk around the corner of the hall and I'm like standing outside of his door. I'm like, if that's not Matt Gartzka, like, I don't know who that is because that is Matt Gartzka. It was either that day or the next day or something. I saw him in the parking lot. I didn't say anything to him, but the point I'm trying to make is that I remember sitting there being like mad discouraged. Like, I will literally never be able to play any of that. Like, I could sit here all day for the next 20 years and maybe I will scratch the surface of what he's doing right now. But in reality, when you actually go out on tour, I've been on a lot of tours in my life and I've seen a lot of drummers. You don't need to be Matt Gartzka to be a professional drummer. You can be me. You
Yeah,
can be a solid drummer. You don't have to be a freak of nature. But the thing is, it's basically 50% being good and 50% being a good hang. It might even be 60% being a good hang and 40% being good. But a lot of people think they can good hang their way to a gig, and good hanging your way to
no,
a gig is not enough. You
no,
have to be really good. You have to be really, really, really good. And you have to understand part of being really good is mastering different scenarios. You have to understand how to handle yourself on tour, how to handle the pressure of a live show, how to deal with issues on stage that go wrong. How do you learn about issues on stage that go wrong without experiencing them, right? And you experience them by going on a bunch of tours, playing a bunch of shows, and you experience every little problem that could possibly go wrong, RF issues, cables falling out, playback stopping, like guitars cutting out, vocals cutting. I mean, I've seen it all. I've experienced it all, hot temperature, cold temperature, humid, wet, all of it. And when you go through all that stuff, it's every little step is making you more and more and more of a professional. So that's
constantly
that.
learning, just constantly
You have to
learning and
have to keep
taking
learning.
bits from your experiences and implying, applying it to the journey still. So that's definitely some solid advice, man. We can actually kind of segue into this next thing here. Talking about touring, we were speaking about like the drum tech life. A lot of people will get their foot in the door that way too, which you can, but you got to be careful because what do you want? Like if you're gonna go and try to tech for someone so that you can get an in the industry, some people fall in the drum tech hole and they
Yes, I have
become
a
a drum tech forever, but
the first person who comes to mind is Lonnie Robinson. Lonnie, who plays for Pierce the Veil
Pierce the
now, he's a
veil.
buddy of mine. Yeah. So many years ago, Lonnie was teching for August Burns Red. And he might have teched for Of Mice and Men as well. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to, it was this a long time ago. This is, I think, maybe early days of Instagram or something like that. But August Burns Red let him play a song live. I think he played Whitewashed with them. And this video went viral of August Burns Red's drum tech can play. And everyone was like, oh my God, this guy can actually play. Well, next thing you know, this guy gets the Let Live gig and he does Let Live for years. And then next thing you know, he got oh, I'm blanking on it, but basically a big pop gig. Then he gets the Pierce the Veil gig. Huge band. It's a massive band. He's got a great gig. He's a great dude. Whatever. He basically came from drum teching, got a gig. In 2021 or 2022, I can't remember. I did one tour teching for Papa Roach and I did one tour teching for A Day to Remember. Both bands wanted me to work for them full time. Like, hey, we'd love to have you be our drum tech forever. I saw the writing on the wall, which was up until this point, like I said, when I was 20, I made this pact with myself that I would practice drums every year and get better every year. I saw the writing on the wall, which is because like that first tour I did was like 3.5 weeks or something. That was the first time in like 12 years I had gone 3.5 weeks without playing drums. And I remember being out there going like, uh-oh, I see how this will play out. All of a sudden, I'll blink and 9 months has passed, and I've practiced drums like for a couple weeks in those 9 months, and
heartbreaking, dude.
heartbreaking. And trust me, when you're on tour teching, as fun as it is, and I love both of those bands so much, I really enjoyed teching for them and making their drums sound great and all that stuff. But like, I just saw the writing on the wall, which is like, I'm not going to be practicing. And when you're out there teching, dude, you don't get time to jam. There's no like, you might get lucky if you did get a crew jam during sound check or something, but you're talking about literally seconds of playing drums, like 30 seconds of playing drums or a minute of playing drums a day. What happens is you fast forward a couple years, managers, music directors, the people in the band, even if they know you can play, they start looking at you like a tech. And I've told a lot of techs this, I'm just trying to be upfront about this, and I don't want to offend anybody or make anyone feel bad. This is just the truth. I've told it to a lot of people I have a lot of respect for. And I have so much respect for techs too, because their jobs are really hard. Those are long days, bro. Especially if you're teching a headliner. Those are early mornings, those are late nights, especially if you're doing drums, changing drum heads, polishing cymbals. Like it's a shitload of work. And I have so much respect for techs and of all different types of techs. But the ones who want to play and the ones who I know really want to play and they're itching to play and they're itching for their moment, I tell them all this exact thing that I'm saying right now, which is if you're not, you are going to be perceived as a tech, not a player. Even if everybody knows you can rip. A lot of times techs are better than the guys in the band.
Yeah,
But
I was just gonna
but
say
it's
that too.
that's a reality, bro. I got a lot of guys in my head I'm thinking about right now. That's a
Same.
reality.
Yeah.
The problem is that again, I'm just being frank here. It feels like an easy way out. It's like, okay, I need some money right now, so I'm gonna go tech. And it's like, man, if I could go back in time, I'd do the same thing again. I would choose to struggle longer to maybe play in a band later, and I'll find ways to make money at home because you think that by being out there, you're going to be in these conversations. But when it comes down to brass tacks, when it comes down for a manager to hire a new drummer for an arena band, or a guitar player,
They're not
it's
looking at the tech crew to see.
usually not because a couple reasons. One, many of those people don't have experience playing a gig that big, and that's a whole thing in itself. But number two, then guess what? Now they have to go find another guitar tech too. You
Yeah,
see what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, let's say they hire the guitar tech. It's like, well, shit, now we got to fill that position. So we got to go find somebody anyway. So, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it's going to ruffle feathers in the crew. Maybe the crew is like, all right, so like Joe, our guitar tech, is now on the band bus. Like, what happened to him? I thought he was one of the crew guys with us. Like, and it just creates this funny thing. So I've never heard anybody talk about this out loud. I feel like people are afraid to talk about it or something. But dude, if you want to play, practice. Practice and play shows. Like, don't get stuck teching. I would say go tech once or twice and experience it so you know what it's like. I think it's really cool when you can see that side of it. It gives you like I have so much appreciation for the rest of my life. I have endless appreciation for drum techs all over the world because I go like, dude, your job is hard and you don't even get to play drums. You have to watch my dumbass play drums.
Yeah.
And you have to, you're working hard all day. Like my drum tech, Andrew, the best guy in the world. And I've told him all this stuff. He's an insane player. He's such a good drummer. And I'm rooting for him. And I'm like, dude, I would never want to lose you to drum tech, but if you ever got a gig, I'll write you recommendation letters. I know you can play. I know you can get a gig and play at a high level. So yeah, that's kind of what I have to say about that.
Yeah, like don't get stuck. If you really want to, at the end of the day, chase your dreams. If you want to
For
tech,
sure.
go tech. Because some
Yeah,
guys
and I
do. I mean, and those guys
tons
that
do.
just want to go out there and tech, they're living, they're chilling. Like if you love touring and I mean, they get paid well, right?
Yeah, they
Wouldn't
get
you
paid
say?
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get
So
paid well there, and I know a bunch of guys like I mean, like, dude, we're about to go without it with him again, but like Creed and Alter Bridges drum tech, Flip's drum tech, dude loves teching, loves touring. He's a great drum tech, great guy. It's like awesome. Like there's a lot of guys like that. There's a lot of guys who just are like, nah, I'm done. I don't want to play. That's over. Then maybe they play in a local band when they're at home off tour. They have like a fun project or they play in some bars or something, but they're not trying to do it professionally. They like drum teching. They like that life. And I think it's rad, dude. But you gotta make a decision on what you actually want in your soul, and you can't get mad if you've been drum teching for 8 years and nobody's calling you to play. It's like you can't get mad at that. You have to put your money where your mouth is. So,
yeah, you have to be
'cause
available as a drummer. So going back to your pinnacle social media, your Instagram there, design that in a way for whatever it is you want to go after, dude. If you want to be a drummer and you want to land a big gig
dude,
someday, that's really the formula, to be honest. You got to practice your ass off, get to a good level to where you can be a really solid drummer. Get out there and play as much as you can. Travel. If you live in a small city and you got to drive an hour and a half to go to an open jam, just get experience playing with people, network, and then use your social media as a tool to amplify that, period. Unless you want to be a
here.
content creator. I mean, if that's another thing,
Right, which
do
is
it.
also cool too.
Yeah,
Do
do
it.
it.
Yeah, you're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But don't
the last
complain.
thing.
Don't complain then if you're not getting endorsements and gigs then.
Agreed. Agreed. And the Instagram thing, like I used to have in my Instagram bio, you can learn from my failure here. I used to have in my Instagram bio like drummer for so and so bands, and I put drum tech, and I typed in a few bands that I've drum tech for. And then after somebody else kind of explained some of this shit to me, I was like, oh, I don't want to be seen as a drum tech. So
No,
I took
I'm
that
not
out,
a
even though I
drum
drum
tech.
tech for two huge bands. That's cool to tell people, especially because of the Rock Locks thing. It's like they're kind of go hand in hand. I just don't want to be viewed as a drum tech. It's not what I want to do. And so I took that out of my Instagram. I just took it off my website as well. You have to brand yourself as what you want.
Real quick before you get so with this tour essay, actually, are you gonna read the whole thing?
Yeah, so basically there was this tour essay that went around and went viral. There's a Facebook page and Instagram page called This Is Tour Life. I'm not sure who runs it. Based on just reading a handful of posts, it sounds like someone who was on the crew side, not on the band side, but I could be wrong about that. I really don't know. I'd love to meet whoever runs the page. I think there's a lot of really good insight as far as like for people who've never toured and kind of like want to know what it's actually like. But let me just read this because it was controversial and I'll explain why. Okay. This was posted May 24th of last year. The raw truth about touring and mental health. Touring breaks people in ways that most people don't talk about and the industry rarely admits. At its core, touring is chronic displacement. You're always somewhere else, no routine, no grounding, no permanence. Your nervous system never lands. You live in fight or flight, travel delays, high pressure shows, interpersonal tension, constant overstimulation. There's no decompression, no off switch. And emotionally, touring swings between extremes. One night it's 15,000 people screaming, the next it's a silent hotel room. You go from deep connection to total isolation over and over again. That kind of cycle burns out even the most resilient people. But the culture of touring rewards stoicism and punishes vulnerability. You're expected to power through, joke about it, drink through it, avoid it. And the deeper you go, the harder it becomes to admit you're unraveling because your whole identity is tied to the road. Your worth becomes about being needed, useful, reliable. So when your body screams, I can't, your mind says you have to. There's no roadmap for recovery, no built-in support, no decompression protocol. And when you finally make it home, you don't feel home. You feel disoriented, numb, out of place. No one around you quite understands what you've just been through, and honestly, you don't either. The truth is, touring can be beautiful, but it can also dismantle you. And pretending it doesn't is why so many are suffering in silence. Admitting the toll doesn't make you weak, it makes you honest. And that honesty is where real change begins. Okay, lots to
Interesting.
unpack here. We don't have to harp on this for too long, but I just wanted to cover a couple things here. So, the reason this was, I think, controversial and, the comment section is kind of divided is because anybody who's toured at any level, understands how, you know, frankly fucked up it can be. It can be really insane. Like I'm numb to it at this point. I've kind of seen it all and experienced it all and but I tell people all the time it takes a specific personality to be able to handle it. I remember we were playing like a 6,000 cap arena in like Barcelona, but the showers were like janky as hell. And I literally don't even think about it. I can't even remember how many I played 45 arenas last year and 96 total shows. I can't remember how many cold showers I took. And you know what I mean? And I'm in like a real band that tours at a high level. And it's like you just become numb to that kind of stuff, to just the actual literally like hard part about touring, like the different beds, the living out of a suitcase, the cold showers, the just the not having any consistency with what's going on. So in that note, I really agree with a lot of this essay on stuff about like mental health and people shoving it down and whatever. The part I kind of disagree with is I don't feel like talking about it is like taboo at all. I think a lot of people talk about it. I think we have these conversations all the time on the road. Like it's really difficult to leave your family. It's difficult to, leave your dog. It's your relationships struggle at home. Like, but we all talk about it. So I'm not really sure where that part of the essay comes from, where it's like, stoicism is whatever. And it's like, yeah, of course there's the true road dogs who are just like, suck it up, dude, fucking whatever. Like, of course that exists, but generally speaking, you don't really see that. a whole lot, especially at a higher level. Like it's a lot of professionals, man, like people who are pros who are really good at their jobs and, you know, they know what they're doing. And the part where it's like there's no roadmap for recovery, no built-in support, all this stuff is true. There isn't. There's no roadmap for recovery. But guess what? Some people dig ditches and like, you know what I mean? Like are people do way worse jobs than this. And I think that's why it was so controversial. The people like me who came up the hard way in the music industry and like my family didn't have money. My career is good now, but it took a really long time to get to this place. And I look at stuff like this and I go like, yeah, I agree. It's all difficult. It's all messed up. And I think the point of this is to maybe get people to talk about it. But dude, if you don't like it, go flip burgers at home. You know
That
what I
that was
mean?
my point too. I
Go
agree.
join a construction crew and tell me that roofing in the summer is like somehow easier than you know what I mean? Like somehow better than going on tour. Like
Yeah, like if you go on one tour and you have a really rough experience and you after one tour you'll realize if it's something you want to do or not. Don't put yourself through it if it's that bad. My tour essay, though I agree with I see what they're saying in a lot of that. If I wrote up a tour essay, it would have looked a lot different. I mean, I would have complained. There's definitely things to complain
there's
about.
definitely stuff to complain about. Don't get me wrong. Like
Yeah,
it's
but
hard. It's really hard and takes a specific psycho to want to
yes.
do it. It
Yes.
does.
Yes.
Even when you're getting paid, even when you're in hotel rooms, even when you're in buses, it still takes a specific personality to be able to handle all of that stuff. You are literally living with your coworkers. And what other job do you do that? Yeah, no shit, touring is hard, but there's a lot of other hard jobs. Sitting in front of a desk all day, making cold calls.
You can write an essay like that about every job. I can write up a whole thing about how it's kills me inside and how it makes me want to drink and how it makes
Yep,
like it's
yep.
called life, you know, it's
It's called life.
don't put
I
yourself in a
will.
position that's going to make you uncomfortable ultimately, but
I, the thing is, though, it's like if it was super easy, I think more people would make it. But that's part of the risk reward of making it is like it's really, really hard. It's incredibly hard. I hope that one day touring musicians can somehow unionize. Maybe the crews can unionize. Like we need a better healthcare situation, but there are organizations that, you know, music cares and stuff like that that do help out in in situations like that. But yeah, but all that to be said, it's like there's way harder jobs out there. I'm sorry. There just are. The hardest part for me about touring is just leaving home. That is the
being
hardest part.
away from family, that
Yeah.
is that
I
is the only thing to complain. I mean, there's other things to complain about, but like real actual issues, not like, oh,
mhm.
so and so's pissing me off, so and so's
Yeah.
annoying. Yeah, that's
Th-
relationships, that's people, it's life.
that's people, that's every job. I can do hotel rooms, I can do buses, I can do,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. Really the hardest thing for me is leaving home. And the second hardest thing is the flying. I'm not scared of it. I just hate flying. Like sitting in a tube for 13 hours. It's
Wait,
just
how many flights did you take this year again? Last year?
I think like 45 or something,
I thought you
which
said
which
something like that, or 50.
which
That's
is funny
insane.
because I thought I took a lot, and then I had another buddy post that he took 77 flights. It's like his motherfucker smoked me by 30 flights.
It's right.
Like
I wonder what
yeah,
his
and
tour essay looks like. Geez, he probably
oh
loves it. No.
yeah, no, for well he does. I know the guy, and he does, and I won't out him, but yeah, he's a true road dog. Like he loves touring, and I love touring too. And you know there are a lot of challenges. Like in 6 days, I have to get on a 13-hour flight from LA to Paris. But
Mm.
then guess what? I get to play shows all over Europe, and you know what I mean? How many more times am I going to get to do that in my life? I don't know. This will be my seventh time touring Europe. When I was a kid, I just wanted to do it once. It's like if I could go to Europe one time, and here I am on number seven, and it's like I try to remember stuff like that. I try to remember what shit was like when I was 16. And again, when I see essays like this, I think I agree that it is really hard. I agree all that stuff, but if it's not for you, that's okay. Like you can go do something else. I trust me, dude, there's been a billion times where I've thought to myself, is this for me? I should just hang it up and go get a job at home because this is really hard. Trust me.
And it's not
So yeah,
about, be a man and toughen it up. Sure,
no,
there's definitely, there's
yeah,
guys and there's people that are like that, but it's not, don't force yourself into that. You don't have to be the
no,
tough guy. If you don't like it and it's not resonating with your soul and you are just itching to get out of there, like you said,
yeah.
don't do it because it will
I
destroy you.
it will. I'll leave it on this. This will be the last thing I say. 2014 to 2017, I was working full time in sales, in outside sales for a couple different beverage companies while I was practicing. Remember earlier in the conversation, I was saying work a job at home and practice a lot. That's what I was doing. I had an outside sales job where I could kind of create my own hours. I had to hit a certain amount of stores a day. So me was like, okay, well, if that's the game, I'm gonna wake up at like 5 and I'm gonna hit as many stores as I can until like noon or 1 o'clock, and then I'm gonna go practice. And then at like 5 or 6, I'll come back, make sure my emails are good to go, and then rinse and repeat. I was making at the end of that little stint, I was living in Seattle. My rent was $660 a month, all in, and I was
I
making
wish.
like yeah, yeah, and I was making like 72 grand a year, and I was single and I didn't have any car payments. 72 grand a year is not a lot of money, but when your rent's that low and you're single, it's like, dude, it was easy, right? I had my job down pat. I quit that job to make $150 a show, not even a day rate. Literally $150 a show was my only guaranteed pay for a 3 week tour. I quit that job to do that. And that is where my career really started. But the point I'm bringing that up is that, dude, I felt it deep, deep, deep in my soul. I would do anything to go tour and play shows. I felt that I would do I turned away health insurance and a great job and a great salary to go eat shit on some
Because you
rough
knew you
tours
wanted to. There was no
because I knew I
question.
wanted, there was no
Yeah.
question. And if you really are on the fence about it, if you're young, if you're in your early 20s and you're on the fence about it and you're like, oh, I don't know, man, it's kind of nice being at home. It's like, well, I'm not gonna lie, bro, you're probably not gonna do well. You're not gonna make it because
Yes.
there's 100 guys who had my attitude who are like going to push through every wall that comes up. And so, yeah, all that to be said is as hard as touring is and can be, I'd still much rather do that than drive around in a van and sell coconut water to like grocery managers who are cussing me out of their stores.
Nah,
That
give me the
sucks.
sticks, brother. Give me the
I'll write an essay.
sticks
Yeah,
and
give me
give me
this.
the
I'll write an
fucking
essay.
bunk.
Yeah, I'll write a sales essay about how much those jobs suck. You know what I mean? So all jobs are jobs and jobs suck. So
Yeah.
you got to be grateful that you can I'm grateful that I get to play drums as a job. It's an insane thing, but there are sacrifices and those sacrifices are real. And the essay points out those real sacrifices, but to act like it's the hardest job in the world is it's just untrue. It's not true. It's the guys ringing up PAs and lights and
Oh,
stuff like that. Like
oh, dude. Yeah,
that's a
dude.
job.
You ever
That's
done a
tough.
roof? Dude, go ahead and do a roof, brother. What the hell are we talking about, dude? You're sleeping in a damn. I get it. Bunks on on
Yeah.
a bus suck, but it's not for you
A,
then.
a, a lot of times I see people like that attitude, the kind of attitude behind an essay like that typically comes from somebody who didn't come up the hard way. Somebody who had they went straight to bus touring.
Oh yeah.
Right, straight to big tours, and then they're out there and they're like, "Oh man, this is not as comfortable as being at home." It's like, yeah, no shit, it's not as comfortable as being at home. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, right. But
It's
you
like
didn't
that's
eat shit in a van for 7 years too. So you're
right,
just,
right.
yeah, no, that's a good
I
point, dude. Coming up from the
Yeah,
shithole, making it to that level, like you're a perfect guy to talk about this because you're at a level. Because I made a video and made my take on this, but you're at a different level where it's more comfortable and it still translates because it's touring.
still translates. It's touring. You're
Yeah,
still, like I said, like I think how many cold showers I took this year.
right, right.
I'm just like, I don't even think about it. I go, all right, well, I guess it's a cold shower today. To me, it's like I remember not showering and going into a van and being so disgusting. I remember not showering and even going into a bus, like when I did one of those tours where you share a bus with three bands in Europe. It's like you don't always get a shower, but it's like when you play drums and you sweat through your clothes and then you have to like change into other clothes and crawl into a nasty bunk. I've done that so many times I can't even remember. So to me, a cold shower is better than no shower, and I'll do it every day of the week. So, and I'm not downplaying people's struggles. It is a struggle. So,
There we go. We heard it right from Anthony. Dude, I appreciate your time. It was cool to get your take on this and everything else we talked about today. So, very interesting stuff.
absolutely, bro.
Leave a
Good
comment too.
stuff.
And if you guys want any other topics you want us to talk about, or let's hear your take on the matter, please leave a comment. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Peace.
All right. Later.